are these people?
So now we're going to get to Ali Abunimah, which I had to insert today because it made me really freaking mad. Originally, I wasn't going to talk about it because a lot of other people are talking about it, and this is how did we miss that. But there's also a lot of people that aren't as plugged into Twitter as we are and aren't as plugged into everything that's happening news-wise as we are on a daily basis. And they might have missed this quite easily because, of course, the corporate media is not speaking about it. Journalist arrested in Switzerland for criticizing Israel, and it's an Indie Media Award honoree. The managing editor and publisher of the Electronic Intifada, Ali Abunimah. All right. Arrested in Switzerland for...
You violated the law.
For criticizing Israel. What else is new? I thought Switzerland was neutral. The acclaimed journalist Ali Abunimah was arrested for opposing genocide. So we start with our friend the Dissident. The trend of lawfare against journalists for doing accurate reporting on Israel's genocide in Gaza continues with the recent arrest of Palestinian-American journalist Ali Abunimah in Switzerland. According to his outlet, the Electronic Intifada, also an Indie Media Award honoree, Abunimah was arrested by the Swiss police ahead of a speaking event in Zurich on Saturday afternoon. The outlet went on to report that, quote, the arrest came one day after Abunimah arrived in Zurich for a speaking tour. When he arrived at Zurich airport on Friday, Abunimah was questioned by police for an hour before being allowed to enter the country. Abunimah's arrest appears to be a part of a growing backlash from Western governments against expressions of solidarity with the Palestinian people. Also, seems to be pretty obvious to me. While further information about the arrest has yet to come out, it was almost certainly over his reporting on Palestine. In July of last year, remember that Ali Abunimah, and we covered it on this show, was threatened with arrest by the German authorities for giving a talk on Palestine over a Zoom meeting in the country. And that's
crazy.
Crazy.
What?
Right? If you were there in the beginning when we had the pre-show music and it scrolls through all the old thumbnails, he's on one of those thumbnails talking about how Germany is threatening to arrest Ali Abunimah. I guess they got Switzerland to do it for them.
Yeah.
If you remember, quote, about 2 hours before my scheduled talk on 26 July, I received via a lawyer in Germany a 15-page notice from government authorities in Berlin informing me that I'm prohibited from participating in the conference by any means, including online. The penalties include fines and up to 1 year in prison. And we know how fascist Germany's gone, so they'd be relishing the opportunity to do that to him, potentially. All right. As the Dissident continues, this arrest fits a pattern in the Western world of states using lawfare to try to intimidate and silence journalists and activists from speaking out about Israel's genocide in Gaza. This campaign has been especially prevalent in the UK, as we were covering earlier tonight. Ali's colleague at the EI, Asa Winstanley, previously had his house raided and devices seized by British counterterrorism police in October of last year, again covered on this show. Wow, I'm proud of that. UK authorities also arrested and charged freelance journalist Richard Medhurst at London's Heathrow Airport over his reporting on Palestine. We updated that story earlier, that they want to extend his further punishment out till the middle of May and muzzling. UK authorities also charged pro-Palestine activist Richard Barnard for expressing an opinion that is supportive of a proscribed terrorist organization and raided the home of pro-Palestinian journalist and activist Sarah Wilkinson for content that she's posted online. In all of these cases, the UK weaponized Section 12 of the so-called Terrorism Act, which makes it a criminal offense to say something supportive of a proscribed terrorist organization. And because Hamas, who also is a political party and operates the health ministry in Gaza, or operated in Gaza, because Hamas and other Palestinian groups are labeled as terrorists by the UK government, they were able to weaponize this law to use it against the aforementioned journalists and activists. Given that Switzerland officially designated Hamas as a terrorist organization last year, similar laws are likely being weaponized in the case against Abunimah. Swiss media has reported that security director Mario Fair, and I have more on this, denied Abunimah entry into Zurich, where he was scheduled to speak after absurdly labeling him an Islamist Jew hater, and even more absurdly claiming that he endangers Switzerland's internal or external security by speaking. Swiss media also reported that this designation came out in part based on the fact that Thomas Patsko called Abunimah, quote, a mouthpiece for Hamas. No, but okay. Patsko is a board member of Never Again Is Now, only for Israel, of course, only for the Jews in his mind, the Zionists. All right. A think tank that claims to be a nonprofit organization dedicated to combating anti-Semitism, quote unquote, anti-Semitic, anti-Septicism.
So similar to the ADL, probably dog shit.
But which is clearly a front for the state of Israel. Yes. All right.
Never again, unless it's anybody else.
Again, the website repeats numerous dubious Zionist talking points, including calling the West Bank Judea and Samaria, as I talked about with Elise Stefanik, and claiming that Jews were removed from Gaza in 2005 when Israel withdrew to provide the Palestinian leadership with an opportunity to autonomously govern. That's the story that my wife constantly comes back to me with. I'm going to be perfectly personal and honest with you. That they left them greenhouses and that Palestinians tore them down and turned them into military tunnels. I mean, she believes all the bullshit Hasbro. I don't know how to get her to stop buying it, but maybe someday she'll believe it when she sees all the destruction.
Eventually, there won't be a choice, you know.
The group also adopts the IHRA detention of anti-Semitism, or definition, not detention, but definition of anti-Semitism, which falsely includes statements such as comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis, while they occupy people, imprison them, and exterminate them. I can't imagine why anyone would compare them to Nazis. And claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor when they maintain second-class citizens against Palestinians, even the ones that they consider to be quote-unquote Israeli citizens, but have no real voting rights. As examples of anti-Semitism. They certainly can't serve in the Knesset either. All right.
Anti-Semitic.
Not at least to a majority.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that these laws are a clear violation of free speech principles, because they're, again, the only democracy in the Middle East, right? All right. The hypocrisy of them is outrageous. Because if Hamas are terrorists, then the Israeli government, which just spent the last year slaughtering Palestinians in Gaza, 70% of whom are women and children, and 90% of whom were civilians, certainly are at that point, wouldn't they be? Well, that's Brian Mast thinks that there are no innocent civilians in Gaza. We know that. What an asshole he is. How we have a North Carolina congressperson who served in the IDF and wears his IDF uniform into Congress of a foreign service is beyond disgraceful. All right. When they're literally committing mass murder, not even allegedly, they're doing it. I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for YouTube. Fuck YouTube. Yet there are no laws in any of these countries against supporting Israel's bombardment of the people of Gaza, something human rights organizations from HRW and Amnesty International have called a genocide, in which the ICC has called crimes against humanity and war crimes. Also that Francesca Albanese from the UN, who was the UN rapporteur on genocide, designated it genocide. It's genocide. Swiss mainstream media has tried to justify the arrest of Abunimah by listing factual statements he's made. The Swiss mainstream media outlet NZZ tried to back up the claims that he was an Islamist Jew hater on quote-unquote by citing him saying that, quote, there is no credible evidence of a single rape on October 7th, which is something that even the mainstream Times of London has admitted, and for saying, quote, Israel killed its own people on October 7th, something that's been extensively documented in everything from the Israeli newspaper Haaretz to the Australian state broadcaster ABC News. The fact that Ali Abunimah is an American-born citizen arrested by a foreign government over his reporting should cause an international scandal similar to that of Evan Gershkovich, the Wall Street Journal reporter who was charged by Russian authorities over his journalism on the Ukraine war, right? But of course, we don't get that. Unfortunately, the principles of a free press are often ignored on the issue of Palestine, meaning that the mainstream media and the American government will likely stay silent over this case. Yeah. So we've got Ali Abunimah now locked up. And now we've got Gen X girl, who I will be having a conversation with on Wednesday, hopefully. We'll be recording and putting out Saturday night. Or Saturday morning via podcast, at least. The Swiss government has arrested Ali Abunimah. He was invited to speak in Zurich. This is Western democracy held captive by Israel. If you watched The Lobby, which was the groundbreaking expose on Israel, on the Israel lobby, the voice narrating the documentary is Ali Abunimah. Solidarity with Ali, obviously. Journalism is not a crime. Beyond Headlines, follow them if you haven't already at headline_beyond. All right. Ali Abunimah was arrested by Swiss police ahead of speaking event in Zurich. He's currently being detained with access to legal counsel. The arrest happened after he arrived for a speaking tour. So they let him in only to arrest him later. Nice. Independent journalist Dimitri Lascaris, affiliated with the Canada Files, as well as some other folks that we know, good peeps. No one has done better reporting on Israel's genocide than Ali Abunimah and the EI team. That's why Ali has been targeted by the Swiss police. Again, People's Dispatch expressing solidarity as well. All right, providing consistent and accurate reporting.
Hat in the ring on this one.
Now, John McAvoy, who we talked about earlier, he's now running Declassified UK, right? You can follow him at John J. McAvoy, MCEVOY _2 on Twitter. Right. It turns out that Mario Fair,
John McAvoy,
being John McAvoy, all right. It turns out that Mario Fair, the security chief in Zurich, where journalist Ali Abunimah was arrested, has spoken at pro-Israel rallies and called for pro-Palestine demos to be banned. All right, right there. Current president of the canton of Zurich, alongside the Jewish community, the president of the Jewish community of Zurich. Why don't you as cantonal security director intervene? Quote, I have strongly advised the responsible municipal security officer not to authorize any more Palestine demonstrations in the current dangerous situation. Such demonstrations can quickly escalate and are difficult to control. Yes, especially when they get infiltrated by Zionists and attackers. All right? Yeah. The municipalities in the canton of Zurich, just like happened in Amsterdam with the soccer hooligans. All right? The municipalities in the canton of Zurich that are responsible for issuing permits for demonstrations should be aware of their responsibility. So you've got a Zionist is the reason why he was arrested. Now today, Ahmed Eldin, all right, who's another independent journalist, all right, Francesca, and you can see, I think that's Sanaa Saeed and some other people there. Ali remains detained arbitrarily in Zurich because immigration officers responsible for deportation don't work until Monday. And because the Zionist lobby, he's stuck there for the weekend.
Nice.
And the Zionist lobby is growing more powerful in Switzerland. Okay. So this is a 20-minute conversation about that.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. And then I wanted to finish by providing a link to a petition that Asa Winstanley posted for change.org to free
It'll be in
and
the
release.
description below, I'm sure.
I'm going to put it in the chats everywhere, but to release Ali Abunimah immediately, of course, because journalism is not a crime, as we have scrolling across. There's only one hashtag that goes across that ticker, and it's journalism is not a crime. All right. It started with Julian Assange. Oh, yeah. First they came for Assange. Didn't we say that? And they criminalized journalism and they criminalized, publishing classified material. It's been a fun time, let me tell you. Independent journalism is under assault. All right. And getting truth from sources that are not corrupted by the Zionist lobby, by advertisers, by anyone who can be influenced by anything other than seeking out exactly what the hell happened from the people that are on the ground that it happened to. That's who we're trying to get the story from first, right? From the people themselves. And I think that's different for most. And I'm proud of that. But yes, we are heavily censored. We are heavily suppressed. That is why I love the 27 of you here on YouTube and the 5 that are watching right now over on Indian INN channel. All right. And the 71 watching over on, who's over there? Oh, yeah, over on Elon's magical machine. But yeah, all these amazing people have already supported our network, tipping us, hooking us up with PayPal, Ko-fi, Cash App, a Substack membership, something to help us keep the lights on, keep the restream going, keep the Canva going so that we can make all these graphics and thumbnails and video shorts and clips. We have a new outro tonight that I'm going to debut. Really excited about that. That'd be nice. So Cash App, $ Indie News Network, INDIE. You see it down there at the ticker. You can get to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network. That shows up in the chat. Or you can !donate. Typing that in the chat will bring up the link to do that as well.
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen? To 50,000 died, and now we know our mission. We form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.